Well, yes, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be in the world, and welcome to the F05 Championship. My name is TK, and alongside me is a very, very special guest indeed. It is Barista Josh, and once again, a pleasure to have you alongside me in the commentary booth here.
Yes, amazing. Thank you for the invite back. I had a blast the last time we commentated, so hopefully we get some more high quality racing like I remember from last time because that was an absolute banger of a time, honestly.
Yeah, really, really great time out, and I think nothing less to be expected here. Division 2 is such a close championship, and some really fantastic racing as well.
Yes, I'm very excited trying to, get in all the details about who's leading, who's where, everything. But I've heard good things about the closeness of the fighting and the battling in this. So very excited to see what happens here at Coda. I think it's always a fun track in person. It's always a fun track to race on the F1 game.
Definitely is. I think me on controller, it's a little bit awkward through that first kind of S section. I've heard people on the wheel have
Oh
a lot more better
God.
time.
The fact that you do this on controller, the amount of respect I have for you, that is ridiculous.
It's a little crazy through the first section. It calms down towards the end of the lap.
Yeah, it gets a little bit easier, but yeah, those S's, I'm sure. I've been having some problems with my wheel, and had a little race in my league with some friends in Vegas, and I was putting some practice laps on the controller just in case I needed to pull it out in the middle of a race like I've had to do before, and it is such a challenge. People that actually are good at controller, I have so much respect for them.
I think it's because I've always used a controller since like F1 2012 or something like that. It just
Wow.
instinct is just there. But yeah. What we're going to do briefly before qualifying laps get underway, let's go ahead and look at our track map for today then. Austin, Texas, the circuit of the Americas, 3.4 miles, 20 turns and 2 DRS zones make up this beautiful circuit in the South USA. High elevation change into turn 1, and apart from that, not much else as you come through it.
Yeah, not a lot crazy. I mean, I would say this is probably a track for most people if they've driven a good amount of time. If you've had the game for a while, to be honest, it's a pretty classic one and pretty fun to drive. I do remember a stint of time where it was not my favorite because I felt like no matter what I did, I just could not gain time around this track. But I would like to think that I'm a little bit better now, or hopefully, because our last race of the season for my league is actually in Coda this coming weekend, and I have not put any practice into it, so this might be a good little test. Might be doing some note takings on some of these drivers if they got some of the good things going on, some good strategies for me to use.
Yeah, definitely. It's a weird track. I think once you get used to it, it's a lot nicer in response. But we were just watching a board with Peeler. He's invalidated his first hot lap, and then Liam RS13 managed to have a little bit of spin, caused a little bit of carnage, just in the exit of sector 1 there. And I'll try to see who's on a good hot lap now, as a lot of drivers are out quite early here for Kota.
The Alpine of Son of Rome has set a purple sector 1 so far, so
Let's hop on board with him.
We'll keep an eye on that and see what he can do with that.
I love that in the game they've replicated the sunset pretty much ideal as it was last season, with that beautiful helicopter shot of Leclerc coming through. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, yeah. It is a great shot. And if you're on F1 TikTok, you probably saw those nice little mashup videos of that shot of Leclerc with Max at Brazil this year, and it was that was some cool camera work right there. Let me tell you, it looked absolutely crazy.
I was literally about to mention that. You took the words right out of my mouth. Bazinpix goes fastest with a 143, immediately taken by Patterson with a 135 flat, and then immediately taken off him again by F1 Vincenzo with a 134.8. So about 0.2 different in it for pole at the moment. The Haas probably not as competitive a lap time as he would have wanted. But we're still on board with Son of Rome as he's heading through the final corner now.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see where he ends up putting this. Third. All right.
Respectable English Dave slots into 5th as well with a 152. So I think a lot of drivers just finding their feet here with this circuit.
Yeah, you can see the Alpine of Son of Rome is almost 2 seconds off the pace. So you got to wonder if something happened there. I noticed there were some yellow flags coming up in parts of Sector 2 for people. So it was hard to tell if there was any incidents there or if it was just people slowing down, getting out of the way. But definitely people getting adjusted to the circuit. A lot of invalidated lap times at the moment. So this could definitely just come down to who can put like a clean lap together and keep it on the circuit and get out of Q1. Obviously, we only have 16 drivers. We're doing a full Q1, Q2, Q3 today, and which means one person will be knocked out after this Q1.
I had forgotten about that as well.
Brutal for that one person.
Brutal for that one person. It will make Q2 and Q3 rather exhilarating, with a lot more on the line than I'd say a short qualifying session. But I'm trying to see That's why it makes sense that a lot of drivers are going out earlier than expected, because it is a full Q1, Q2, and Q3. I'm trying to hop on board with El Pato, current championship leader. He's backed out of his lap and is in the pits.
It looks like he invalidated his lap time.
That would make sense.
Based on my screen. He definitely was on a good flying lap, it appeared, but yeah, a lot of invalidations going around. Also, just know as I'm riding on board with the Ferrari of Ghost Reaper, that livery of the Ferrari looks way better in the game, I feel like, than in person. Yeah, and that's just my thoughts.
No, I'm absolutely with you on that. I think it's almost like a bit of a matte effect in the game, whereas it's very, very shiny in real life. I think maybe a matte would look very nice in person. I don't know.
It's very shiny.
Oh, is it?
It's very shiny in real life. It's one of those liveries you look at and you'd think under the lights it would look cool, and it just didn't, sadly. And it's really unfortunate, but
Imagine my shock at something in Formula 1 that's supposed to look really good and just turns out not to be.
Shocking. We've never had that before.
No, never.
I'm seeing it looks like a lot of invalidated, and people are jumping back into the pits after their first laps. So we should get a good idea of how the field is kind of spread out right now. But a few people that have not set a lap left, including the championship leader of El Pato.
Yeah, he's in the pits. There's about 10 or so minutes to go. It's really annoying that it doesn't show you with the yellow flags up all over the place. I just got a glimpse of it there. 10 minutes and 15 seconds. So he's got enough time to get out and get a lap set, but probably not more than 2.
Yeah, plenty of time, obviously, to get a lap in. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I believe the Red Bull of Finn is on a hot lap. Yeah, it looks like they're on a hot lap at the moment on the mediums. So an interesting little strategy call there. Obviously, not too concerned about getting knocked out with only one person getting knocked out here.
Yeah, we've been watching him just for the last few moments, and definitely on the mediums, and maybe he feels confident enough that, 2 minutes, 4 seconds at the moment is the mark to beat, set down by Smithy. I have a feeling that will be upped as we go through this session. But maybe feeling confident enough on a mediums not to waste a pair of softs.
Yeah, I do just kind of want. I'm interested if he put 2 laps to warm up those tires or 1, because the mediums can be very good around this track, but I do feel like they need more than just kind of a lap to get up into that optimized temperature range, obviously. And he goes 9th. I would say that's respectable, and we'll see if he switches to a pair of softs after this just to be safe, or what he does. Because we could see some interesting strategy calls here with. There only being 16 drivers and only one person getting knocked out in this Q1. There's a little less pressure, but also at the end of the day, there's a lot of pressure because you don't want to be that one person that gets knocked out at the end of the day.
No, I mean, it will be talked about probably for the next hour and a half or so, just that one person that does get knocked out. But hopefully, I wish that
they will not be having a good day.
No, they won't indeed.
Ah.
But we'll see what's going on about Vapor Mini has invalidated on his hot lap attempt. Let's actually... we've just had a message from Vincenzo in the chat. That's not Vincenzo, that's Berger. Maybe a different person. Saying they're on mediums and they're fastest. Oh, that's the same person. So, mediums are the fastest tire at the moment by a good couple of tenths here. The Haas in third has also set the lap on mediums, as has Finn. So a few drivers going for it.
Yeah, these are interesting calls. I like it though. I like a little I was just thinking about this the other day during quality of the other day. That was yesterday. What am I talking about? Of how I kind of missed that old setup of quality that we had a couple years back, where what you qualified on in Q2, if you got into the top 10, was your starting tire for the race. I always thought that made it a little bit of interesting. Obviously, made it a little harder if you were one of the bottom teams to potentially get out of that Q2. But it did add some element of strategy there to the race itself, which I always thought was kind of interesting. But there is something to say about getting to have, Williams and Haas's and AlphaTauris getting into Q3 now because everyone's on the same tire. But it's kind of fun to see some mediums out here in Q1 and like what people are doing with them.
I'll be honest, I really missed that rule because it brought strategy into a qualifying session that normally is just who can set the fastest lap. I think what you were saying about it doesn't allow those other teams to get out of Q2. I think actually on the contrary, it sometimes forced the faster teams to play a hand they didn't want to play by going onto the softer tyre.
True. It also, I believe El Pato is on a hot lap, about to come around the final corner to see what their first flying lap will be as they come across the line. Oh,
very good lap there with a 135 flat, nearly pretty much matching their teammate on the soft tyres, and definitely guarantees their seat in Q2 here.
Yeah, that is a fantastic lap to put together on the softs. Love to see a little McLaren 2-3. We would love to see that more in real life too, but we're out here still dreaming as McLaren fans.
We have hope for next season, and that is what I keep saying.
So much hope. So much hope.
I think this year, as a McLaren fan, was a really good foundation. Oscar found his feet wonderfully.
Oh my goodness. Impressive.
I mean, definitely Rookie of the Year. But I think it builds well for next season. By the sounds of it, the car is going to be fantastic. So we'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely a lot to look forward to next season. I think the end of this season definitely gave some hope for what next season could potentially look like with just upgrades that people are bringing. I know that everyone's like, oh, Red Bull's been upgrading since the summer break, their 2024 cars. Like, but I think everyone else has too. Oh, and we have a retirement.
I believe that was in the pits.
Okay.
Deciding. Well, I think drivers will start retiring now. Deciding they're safe from that one elimination spot.
Fair enough. We still have two drivers that don't have a time down yet. One of them in the pits at the moment. And it looks like the Haas is on track on a hot lap right now. So it'll be interesting to see what they can put together on the sauce. But yeah, if the end of this 2023 season has told us anything, it is that, a little moment there. And that lap is invalidated. That is going to be tough.
I wonder what happened there.
That was so weird.
I wonder if that was a bit of stick drift from the Haas. I don't know. It looked like they just threw their controller left a little bit.
That was on that straight. You don't see it invalidated that spot often, and now it's getting a little squirrely.
Maybe a little bit of frustration there.
Yeah, it should be able to come in, jump in, get a new set on if they want to, and get back out there. But that is. Just go for it.
Go for it again. I think realistically they've just got to get a time on the board at this point. If they're not 3 seconds off the delta, then they should be okay.
Yeah. Not a ton of ERS to use at the moment, so that could definitely hurt. But let's see what this Haas can do on this crucial lap. If they can't get anything down, that is going to be a tough one. The AlphaTauri is out on their out lap, so another person with no time at the moment. So basically any error by either of these two guarantees them 16th if they invalidate at all, because they will not have time to get in, refuel, and get back out more than likely.
See, if I'm Finn right now, I'm worried about that early retirement.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all it takes is Jeweler and Peeler both to come out on a lap, which Peeler has just gone on that out lap. I wouldn't say that's a secure time by Finn at all.
It is a good time, but as you can see by how close everything else is, I would say we're looking definitely something in the 135s is going to be the knockout time, especially if all four of these drivers can get a lap in. And yeah, that is a bold retirement. It'll be interesting. Jeweler is still in the pits. Could be just kind of waiting.
I think he's just heading out.
No, they're out now.
Mercedes leaving. Now. Yeah.
Ooh. Liam coming around the final corners. This is going to be interesting.
Still on board with
Finn might be kicking themselves right now.
I'd be very worried sat in that Red Bull garage right now.
If I'm there, I'm praying for someone to go over those track limits and invalidate. Oh,
Ooh.
wow, what a save.
Liam saved it.
Almost got it from the Haas.
Oh, it's only a 139 though. And he's out of VRS. I don't know if he's going to be able to improve enough here.
As the AlphaTauri Vapor does start their hot lap with a full ERS battery, which even if you have some mistakes will come in very handy down some of these straights to get you some of that time. And I think Finn might be all right just because of that time from Liam, honestly, at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah,
that is tough.
I think the Haas might have just saved the Red Bull. And if I'm Peter now, I probably wouldn't even bother setting a hot lap. It's into the pits and save those tyres.
Yeah, Vapor does need to get a good lap going here.
He's chasing Liam at the moment, which could be interesting if there's any tactics coming to.
Oh!
Really poor exit there. I don't know if that's going to affect him too much.
Did not invalidate somehow.
Somehow he's kept it legal.
I am shocked that was not a invalidated lap, but according to my screen at least, it has not popped up that it invalidated. So I think he's good.
I think he's good. The Hassel was with a really unsafe rejoin on his right hand side there, but he's got past.
Doing everything he can. Oh wow, that car is just snapping around these corners.
Either his tire pressures are far too high or his wing is far too low, and I'm not quite sure which is the issue at the moment. But Vapor Mini is dragging this car through to Q2 potentially, and I think he's pretty much having to drag it with ropes and chains at this point.
Oh,
that's
gonna.
It's still legal.
Stick?
It's still legal. No, he invalidated.
How?
He invalidated on the last corner. He's got time to go again though.
He does, with no battery in the exact same position that Liam was in, basically, and he is just gonna have to send it.
No, he's invalidated.
There it is.
This and next lap.
That's it.
Yeah, it's Vapor Mini who's going to be our 1 Q1 knockout here. It's at the Circuit of the Americas. Actually, a really riveting battle there for 16th.
And look at Finn, the right call at the end of the day. We were all worried for that Red Bull. The man knew what to do.
Yeah,
we shouldn't have doubted.
I think, like most people say in real life, never doubt the Red Bulls. They know 3 laps ahead what they're going to do. And it's paid off for Finn on this occasion.
Liam is just breathing a sigh of relief in that Haas garage for sure after what should have been basically a guaranteed knockout. But, man, Vapor Mini just really, really cutting it close on a few of those track limits. There were some that we saw that even looked like it should have been registered by the game, but got away with it. And then that very last corner just got him right there.
Yeah, really.
Just unfortunate.
Really unfortunate. Just I think it was kind of a little bit of karma catching up with him at that final corner. Q2 will be a Haas sandwich then, with 1 in first and 1 in 15th. And it will. Yeah,
it'll be interesting. We'll have a good quality fight in Q2. But some good battling down there at the bottom to see who was going to be that one knockout. And there's no worse feeling than realizing that you are the one person knocked out of Q1. That's a tough day.
Yeah,
tough day.
It's an
we'll
early
have to
shower.
see in the race what he can do.
Early shower for Vapor Mini then, as we just watched Bombaz, our final driver on the track, heading into the pits to finish off this Q1 session. Whilst he does that, I'm going to pull up our driver standings. So El Paso is currently P1 with 200 points, and 53 points behind him is JVR Racing. On your screens it will appear as Ghost Reaper, just due to how EA display different names. Smithy in third. It's Finn, the early retiree, in fourth. And you can look for yourself at the rest of the screen as we pull up the constructors. So Ferrari on top, 25 points clear of the boys from Woking, the McLaren team. Alfa Romeo and Aston Martin in third and fourth, respectively. Alpha Tauri, Red Bull, Mercedes, Williams, Alpine, and Haas make up the rest of the constructors here. And Haas definitely have some work to do, I feel, at this race weekend.
Yeah, see if the drivers can do something good. Obviously, one putting in an absolute banger of a Q1 time on the mediums, and the other one just barely squeaking through, but they're both very much still in this fight, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic lap on the mediums to get through to Q2. Both drivers at the top two, the Haas and the Alfa Romeo, both setting times on mediums here.
Yeah, don't think we're gonna see those medium tires during this Q2, but you never know at the end of the day.
You never know what
there's always
surprises
potential.
pull out here. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Vincenzo come out on the mediums for at least his first lap, maybe not for a
First
competitive
lap,
lap. But bear in mind, they'll want to save it for some of their races later on as well. Obviously, the mediums being quite a good race tire here.
Yeah, very good. Definitely the hard, also a quality race tire, but those mediums around this track do a pretty good job, especially if you can keep them from degrading too quickly. Because this track will definitely eat up those tires very quickly.
Especially with the temperature that we sometimes see here in Texas.
Yeah, brutal.
It really can be. It's nice to see full crowds though from this camera angle of the prestigious Paddock Club just at the top there.
You know, gotta be out there watching qualifying, even if you're just a little NPC.
Yeah, I went to it wasn't Formula One. I went to watch the British Touring Car Championship at Silverstone this year, and that was fantastic racing. It was the first time I'd been to Silverstone, and the atmosphere was incredible.
Oh, the atmosphere at Silverstone is an incredible time. To anyone that has never gone to an F1 race there, would highly recommend. Your bank account will be mad at you afterwards, but it's a great time.
I think it's for a lot of life's things. Your bank account might hate you, but you will love yourself for many years to come.
Yep. I've always said I got to find some cheap hobbies because all through my life I just keep picking up the most expensive hobbies, and it's never changed. And I've yet to pick up one that is inexpensive and doesn't cost me a lot of money. Besides gaming, but even that you drop 60, $70 on a game, you know.
Like you think about, you've got a console coming out maybe every 5 to 10 years. Your PC constantly needs upgrades.
Yep.
The minute you think you've got yourself a good setup, oh no, it's now outdated and needs whole new
Why is
stuff.
it feeling a little slow right now?
Yeah. And then your internet needs changing on top of that, and it's the joys of the things we love, eh?
Yeah. I will say that at the end of the day, one of the best things I pay for every month is a good quality internet. There is having lived in some places with some very slow internet, like I will pay so much money for good fast internet.
At university I did the same. I was like, look, I don't care if you don't pay me back this money every month, I will pay whatever they're charging. And now I'm in quite a rural town, currently between places, and the internet's not great.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to hopefully get some better internet back soon and actually have some stability in life.
Yeah, and speaking of stability, hopefully we'll be seeing some stability from these drivers.
Oh, what a beautiful
thank you
transition there as we see Fruity Sniffle.
Crofty, I'm coming for your job.
Speaking of transition, did you see his they did a YouTube tour around the commentary box?
Oh,
and the
yes,
transition
I saw that on
into FP2. Chef's kiss.
It was very nice.
But anyway, we're on board with Fruity Sniffle at the moment. Our first driver out for Q2 in the AlphaTauri car, heading into Sector 2 on the mediums. We said we might see the mediums for the first few laps here in Q2. And our first driver out is indeed bolting on those tyres.
Yeah, I just realized I did not have the tire details up, and I could not tell what everyone was on. So they got those up now, so I can see. Thank goodness. It's one of the things. Oh, someone. No, maybe. Nope, they're on an outlet. Right. Yep. Sorry, we're good. This is just one of the weird things about commentating F123 is there's some details that you wish you had, and it's a little harder to find them, and you gotta do a little bit of searching sometimes, even just to find what driver you're trying to get to. But we live in and we do what we can for all of you. So I think Fruity Sniffles is out here getting close to finishing that first lap, and it'll be interesting to see what that first benchmark, obviously on the mediums, but so far looking like a pretty solid opening lap to get everything going as he rounds the final corner.
Yeah, it was 34s, 35s for Q1. I'd probably expect low 35s, high 34s again for this Q2 session, as Fruity's immediately beaten by Sniffle. Sniffle's beaten by Smithy with a 135-1.
That's a tough combo to get right after each other.
That is a bombardment of consonants. But Apex...
to be fair, Fruity Sniffle's medium time is looking pretty good. Only 3/10 off of Smithy, only a 10th off of El Pato, a few more soft lap, a 34-4 from Ghost Reaper in that Ferrari, and that is a stomping lap. Purple in all the sectors, it looks like.
Someone has given the Tifosi some proper rocket fuel for that car, as he goes 6/10 quicker than anyone else currently out on this circuit.
That was impressive.
Son of Rome
just pulling up those sector times.
That's probably a disconnect.
Oh, hate to see that. Yeah, those are just some rocketing times.
Vincenzo comes in with a 1:33.9, half a second quicker than even Ghost Reaper on this occasion, and over a second quicker than pretty much the rest of the field. Vincenzo, you have to save some tyres for Q3, buddy.
Yeah, that was... Oh my gosh! I mean, we were saying 34, high 34s, low 35s, and here we are immediately with a driver in the mid 34s, and then Vincenzo with that 33.9, which is a very quick lap around here.
An insanely quick lap around here. I'm trying to catch who's round. Liam in the
be faster than my time trial time, honestly, around here.
Probably not far off for me either. I'm trying to hop on with its Finn. I think he's round there. I think everyone in the top 8 is just coming back in to reset and recharge. We'll go on board with English Dave. He didn't get much screen time. It's a provisional purple sector 2 for the Alfa Romeo. Bear in mind that he hasn't set a lap, so that we know how the game likes to tease us with purple sectors.
Yep.
But we'll hop on board.
Looking pretty good in this middle sector. Looking very stable. It'll be as he comes around these last couple corners to see what he can do and where he can put this car with on these mediums, obviously. So don't expect him in those 133s, but looking like a pretty solid time. We'll see as he comes around this final corner. Where will English Dave put it?
It's going to be a 135.5 up into P6 then. I think that's a respectable lap time for the mediums. Bear in mind, Sniffle's only a 10th off him, and he was also on the mediums.
Yeah, that's a great banker lap just to take a little bit of that pressure off as we're now in Q2, and we are going to have 5 drivers leaving after this session. So good to get just a good lap in and see. Get a little of that pressure off of yourself for that next lap on softs when you actually can really push it hard.
Yeah, definitely. I'm on board with Liam. He's burnt all his ERS again. I think he must have had a invalidated lap prior to this, and I think he's just not looking too comfortable out there at the moment.
Yeah, that middle sector especially just looking very unstable. I know you mentioned wing angle, but also it's either whoa, that was so wide. Yep, and it's invalidated. There it is. That is tough. He should just bring it in here, probably.
Yeah, a bit of a late call, but into the pits he goes nonetheless.
He was making me nervous there, Liam. You're making... Oh, into the wall. I think there's just a little frustration in that Haas going on right now. Would be very interested what wing setup he's got going on right now, because just not looking very stable during that third sector. When you want some good stability as your tires are really heating up on this circuit, but just looking a little squiggly around some of those corners, unfortunately.
Yeah, sector 3 around here, it looks rather innocent, and actually when you break it down, you've got 2 180-degree turns. You've got the long right-hander, which really puts some temperature into the wrong tires, and then immediately 2 quick left-handers, which can really unsettle the car.
Also, just Finn also coming into the pits and smacking that wall. Some people are really having some issues with this pit entrance. It is a bit of a quick left-hander to get in here, but people are going to want to take it a little slower. We're going to have a little DNF during Q2 from someone potentially, which you would hate to see.
I think it'd be worse if we see it in the race. I can almost foresee that happening, especially with the last-minute choice of changing tyres, and that will come at you very, very quickly indeed.
Yeah, currently I'm riding along with Zinip, the other Haas, who, if I'm remembering correctly, had the fastest time in Q1. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one.
I believe you're correct on that, yes.
Yeah, who did just set a purple sector 1 again, first proper lap. So you never know if the game's just teasing us, but looking pretty good on this lap as he comes around the back straight here, putting down that long and mighty back straight. See what he can do in this sector. If he has a little more stability than his teammate does, this should be a pretty solid first lap on this set of softs.
Yeah, we had Luke Huckle in the chat. I'm assuming this is Finn. He said he's busy drinking beer, trying to get back into the pitch with one hand.
Hey, I gotta respect that. As the Haas sets another purple sector. But man, that makes so much more sense. And you know what? Hats off to you, sir. You do you, and don't let us stop you.
Drinking and driving doesn't apply to the virtual world, am I right?
Oh, I mean, as a man that's a part of my only racing league I'm a part of is a drinking racing league. Yeah,
that sounds
and it makes life
and
so much more fun. Oh yeah, there's a reason that we had 9 of us start our race in Vegas last night. Pardon me, a 33.8, sir, in the Haas. Well, yeah, that was a great lap. So the Haas's might just want to swap some tips right now, or setups, or
drivers.
Yeah, get the man over to your setup and get him to put a little lap in, because there's some good confidence from Zenip in that other Haas, and a 33.8 is a great time.
So we've had Luke back in the chat saying, yes, it's Finn, I also hate this track. And then the best saying, 5 and drive. I think we have to do the usual disclaimer. F05 eSports does not claim this message.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you do you, buddy.
They barely claim racing these days, it seems like.
Well, so. Yeah. I mean, did you see the chaos with the F1 eSports event that was happening in wherever it was yesterday?
Oh. I didn't actually get a chance to watch the event, but I saw all the chaos on Twitter leading up to the event. Yeah. Good Lord. And it was chaotic. I think we've got a couple drivers on hot laps at the moment.
Yeah, I'm trying to see who. Peter is invalidated. Apex Joe's just started one.
I think both McLarens are on a hot lap.
No. I think
God,
El Pato. Not. I don't know which one is. One of them got a tow. I think El Pato's on a hot lap here. That was definitely a tow by the McLarens.
Oh, for sure. We'll see. We'll see what that comes into with their final time here. Still rocking the mediums, El Pato. So feeling good about how those are performing at the moment. It'll be interesting to see what this time is in a good spot. To be fair, not looking too dangerous of getting knocked out at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, if he can get these last 2 corners right, it's he dives into the pits.
Oh, that's. Hold up, I just want to quick pull up that last.
Both of them dive
middle
into
sector.
The pits.
30. Is that the last one? Huh? Nope. Didn't finish the lap, so sadly can't see what that middle sector time was. That is an interesting choice there.
I wonder if this will be a last.
Questions.
I wonder if they decided their mediums weren't going to be quick enough, and this is the last ditch pit to get onto those softs and secure their Q3 position here.
That is very fair point, because they are right on the cusp of getting knocked out at the moment.
Ooh.
And the rest of the field looking pretty close. And there's still 2 drivers that have not put a lap time in yet.
One of them is
both of them.
Rome. He's coming through the last few corners at the moment, still on the medium, sticking to them.
Old call. We'll see how that works out as he comes around the final turn.
Because he won't have enough time now to put on a set of softs. It's only 12.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, that's heartbreak for Son of Rome. Maybe
the
he
Haas
thought he had
also
more time.
On mediums, and you just gotta wonder if that's also doing something with his stability through this section as we watch him enter this section that's been such a struggle for him so far. Invalidated a couple times, and you gotta wonder if sticking with those mediums was the right call. We'll see where he puts this, but not looking like the greatest of laps at the moment as he rounds the penultimate corner. And as long as he can keep it on track, he might be doing okay. Oh.
I mean, it's something, and it's a 138.5. But at least there's time on the board here.
There's a time on the board, and at the end of the day, sometimes you want to at least have a time on the board.
That is very true. Son of Rome, like we said, only best of 12th place. Apex Joe did a lap a few moments ago, and he was up to 9th, so he's right on that bubble there. He's on another lap, though. He's gone for it again. Will we see an improvement here by the Williams? Ooh, big kick out there.
Wow.
And doesn't improve, though. I'm just going to keep an eye on the bottom runners here. So Son of Rome, unless he can... Oh, he's got a lot of charge, though.
He's got a lot of charge.
Is he going to be able to get around to start a lap? He's got 30 seconds to navigate Q3.
If he hauls right now, still on those mediums. But, yeah, if he absolutely moves...
He's got to go for it now, doesn't he?
The real question is going to be at this point, how much fuel does he have? Because I can see his fuel flashing on that. And, oh, he's diving into the pits.
Yeah,
I don't think he had enough fuel.
I think you're right on that. So it leaves it down to 4 drivers to do their best to get out of Q2 here. I'll say that it's 3 drivers, as Peeler didn't get across the line in time to start another hot lap. So Bombaz, Liam, and OST Jeweler are our final 3 remaining contestants here to escape the drop zone.
Yeah, Jeweler on what's looking like a pretty decent lap right now on that set of softs. We'll see what they can do. And the Aston Martin of Bomza is right behind them. So just right on the cusp. And then
English Dave is actually
English
on a lap
Dave
as well.
Also on a lap to try to protect that spot. So this is going to be a really good fight as Jeweler comes around that final turn. Can he put it up?
Doesn't improve.
Wow.
Bombaz, can he improve?
The Aston.
It's only good for 11th place. So English Dave has been saved by 2 drivers not performing in front of him. He can dive into the pits now in the knowledge that he is safe. I wonder if he's watching the stream to get that information or if he's going to finish the lap regardless. And finish the lap he does.
Incredibly close between 10th and 11th. I mean, that was nearly a knockout.
So that's less than a 10th of a second between the 2 drivers.
That is so close. You know, they always say 11th is one of the worst places to qualify in Formula One, and I would say the Aston Martin of Bomza is probably feeling that right now too.
I think the Haas, who's currently in the lead, was trying to go faster here. I don't think he did, but he was on another lap.
I mean, why not? You know, sure.
It was another 1:33 lap. So he's shown consistency at speed. I think we're in for a very exciting Q3 here.
Yeah, there's just based on Q2, the Haas and the Alfa Romeo only 6/100ths apart at the moment. So if they can pull off that pace in Q3, we should have a really, really nice battle. And if the Ferrari, the Alfa Tauri, if they can find some time, we could have a 3-4 way battle for pole. But half a second is a lot of time to ask for someone to find around this track. So but at the end of the day, we should have a good battle for it'll be interesting to see what people kind of do here. But sadly, Bomza, Jeweler, Son of Rome, XP, and there goes my screen. EL and the Haas are all knocked out in Q2.
I think it's going to be a very exciting Q3. Like you said, a lot to play for. And I think even though half a second is a lot to ask for, drivers will be switched on that little bit more, dialed in that little bit more, and we probably will see some better mistakes from the guys higher up on the grid as well. So I think
a little more pressure. We should. I'm going to assume everyone's going to be coming out on those soft tires, getting hopefully a banker lap in. Did see a couple invalidated lap times during Q2, but definitely not as many as in Q1. So you got to wonder if some people were just playing a little safer, and if people that kind of finished P3 through P7 in Q2 do have a little bit of time to work with if they were playing it a little bit safer. But this will be the real test.
Smithy is coming out on the mediums.
Oh my God, Smithy, why you gotta make me look dumb?
I mean, it's an interesting approach.
And English Dave.
Oh boy, this is going to be an interesting Q3.
You know what? Screw me. I completely misread that situation from everyone. So
maybe there's a distinct lack of soft tires here for some of our drivers, and it has to be medium bank, and maybe they're just trying to put the rest of the field off here. Maybe they just know something that we don't.
I mean, you know, what do I know? I'm just a commentator sitting on the other side of the world, you know.
I can
drinking a
confirm
coffee.
that Smithy has just apologized in chat.
I accept that apology.
Lovely, everyone's happy. That's what we love to hear.
There we go.
And for that, we'll stay on board with Smithy for his first hot lap attempt in Q3. 10.5 minutes to go here in Austin, Texas. This is a banker to see how they are around here. I've got softs, he says.
Okay. Fair enough.
We'll believe you.
I guess if you know you've got the pace on the mediums and can put a solid lap down, I can't argue with that.
Maybe I don't think Smithy's actually used the mediums around here yet. Is this going to be a race pace? Like, obviously they don't get practice per se. Like,
yeah,
are we seeing like a race pace sort of like practice session here for the Ferraris?
Yeah, I guess we'll get an idea as he comes around the final corner to start his lap. I will say, just kind of watching him on that warm. Oh,
English Dave decided has jumped against it.
Back into the pits.
No, he never left. So, he never left.
Oh, he didn't leave. No. There, that would make sense. I was like, that was a quick switch. But yeah, we've got 4 drivers just starting their hot laps. The McLarens are right behind each other. Kind of looks like they're feeling like they're going to need a tow to get onto pole, but man, that could really hurt them going into that final sector because they are close.
Yeah, I mean,
Patterson is going to get a great tow, but at what cost in that final sector?
Yeah, normally when you're expecting a tow, you have your teammate kind of situated a little bit ahead of you, so not to provide that dirty air. Whereas these two are pretty much racing through the first sector. And I don't even know if they will go for the tow here, if it's just poor timing by the McLarens.
Yeah, it might just be some bad spacing. We'll see soon. I mean, this could be enough of a tow.
Nah, it's definitely a tow. Definitely a tow here by the McLarens.
That's definitely a tow.
Will Pato get out of the way?
Is he going to let him by then? Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Well, he got out of the way, but it was... for a second, it looked like it was going to be real bad.
I'm gonna top on board with Smithy, who's gonna set the first lap. We're gonna go back and have a look at the replay of that. You can keep an eye on the top right hand side of your screen for the live action. This is I will call it a tow from El Pato to Patterson, and El Pato only just gets out the way there. Boy, oh boy, that was close.
It was a great tow. He set a purple sector too, so. We'll kind of see how that comes as he comes around the turn. Oh, okay.
35.
All right.
Wow. It's a good lap.
Now?
What we got to remember is that the Haas was over a second quicker than that in Q2.
Yep.
So,
yeah,
hold on to your hats, ladies and gents. This is anything but over here.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, El Pato did jump straight back into the pits. Obviously, that did seem like it was a bit of a planned maneuver, but you got to wonder if how close they were in that first sector just cost Patterson a little bit of time there.
Yeah.
But that is a great lap to start with, and definitely puts some of the pressure on.
Oh, it's Finn.
Oh
beating
my God!
Patterson by what is that?
100th.
13 thousandths of a second, that is.
Good Lord.
Oh, there's Vincenzo. 133.6. Yep, there we go.
There it is. Cool.
There we go.
Perfect. I was waiting for that.
Yeah, we can go home, ladies and gents.
All right, well, hey, that was good.
We're in the
thank you all for
133.
watching. Good Lord, just basking in this tight quality, 135.04, 135.05, and Vincenzo comes in with a 133.6.
Yes, second and a half quicker.
The competition.
Well, on that note, I'm going to go back to chat and just read what's going on in there. Zinpix, the Haas, said, what a tow. It's one of the riskiest I've ever seen. And I think you're absolutely right on that. It was a very risky, a very late maneuver. I think there was some latency in the call to move out the way there.
Yeah. Also, riding on board with English Dave, who just set a purple sector 2.
Good old Cody's teasing us with purple sectors again.
Interesting. Making us... Not teasing us, just let us know what this lap is. it's looking like a good lap as it comes around that second to last corner. If he can keep it nice and smooth, this should be pretty good as he comes around the final corner. Where is he going to put it? Across the line.
Oh,
Second,
there we go.
134.3. That is a great lap. Wow.
Let's pull up
Well
the
done.
weather. The track temp is actually looking, it's only 24 degrees on track at the moment, according to our information. 17 degrees is the air temperature. And realistically,
Wow.
not a very hot track here in the USA.
Yeah, for what it normally is, especially like this year, that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. Smithy said mediums are good. Happy with that. Time for softs. Well, here we go then.
Fair enough.
We got two drivers out at the moment. That's Apex Joe and Ghost Reaper. I think Ghost Reaper's just started his hot lap, and Apex Joe is about halfway through his.
Yeah. Set a purple sector 1 and just popped up a purple sector 2 for Apex Joe. So looking mighty at the moment. See how smooth he can keep it. There is just so much time you can gain or lose in sector 3. And you can have the smoothest first two sectors, but if you make any kind of mistake in this sector, your lap is basically done for. But he looks like he kept it pretty smooth as he comes around the final corner. And this should be a pretty solid lap from Joe. Where can he put it?
Something to be
Third. All right.
Good, very good lap there by the Williams. I have seen on our track map, though, it's the Haas of Zinips. I can't pronounce this, and I'll probably will fail for the next rest of the
Can we just call you Z to make it?
Yeah, Z. Let's call him Z. I'm going to take everything off the screen, and we're just going to watch him go through this COTA track at such high speeds. And we're just going to watch his qualifying, because this will be a really good attempt at a lap if he doesn't get held up. Gets past two McLarens, both out again. I think there'll be another tow here that we can watch later.
Yep.
But I'm just watching the mastery.
A tow from...
Look at the
yeah,
Haas
tow for El Pato.
Skipping over the curbs here.
The confidence he is throwing into those S's.
I mean, I can tell you for one thing, he's definitely on a wheel. You can't do this on a controller.
Nope. You can always tell by those corners and how jerky that wheel movement is, and that is a smooth... Oh.
Why is he backed out? He has.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He set up purple sector 1 and backed out.
Interesting. Okay, then.
I have so many questions.
There's mind games here that we're not aware of, but are going on regardless. Sniffle has... I'm losing track of what's going on here.
I have so many questions. There's... Also, it looks like the McLarens were setting up... Oh, now they're getting back into formation. They had a bit of a gap between them.
I wonder if they were also confused by the Haas backing out.
I think so. I think they were ready to get out of the way, and then the Haas backed off. The McLarens are so close right now, though. You got to wonder what this game plan is at the moment. I have many questions. Z rounds the final corner to restart this lap, it looks like. Yes,
it is. We'll watch him hopefully go for it properly again this time. We'll keep an eye on the two McLarens. We know where that overtake's gonna, where the tow's effectively gonna be in place if they do it. So we'll flick back to that to see the tow in action. But Z starts his attempt number 2 here for his lap. Maybe he just wasn't happy.
I would love to hear from Z what happened in that. I didn't see anything that looked super weird. The Alfa Romeo Vincenzo feels good about that time. He crashed.
He's crashed.
Oh,
that's huge.
Door is open. To be fair, that is a stonking lap from that Alfa Romeo. But will it hold after crashing? That is the classic spot in COTA to crash.
It's that section where the car is very unstable, getting thrown left to right. And Vincenzo did pay the consequence. We're going to go on board with the McLarens here. We see that tow in action. El Pato getting the benefit this time around. It's actually not as powerful. Pato just wasn't close enough for the tow to take full effect there.
Yeah, it'll be... Doesn't set a purple sector 2. I'm hopping back on with Z.
Yep.
To see what they can do.
His teammates ahead. Oh no, it's not his teammate. That's the AlphaTauri. It looks very similar.
The AlphaTauri. Just.
Is he gonna hold him up?
Could. Oh.
What could this be a mini toe for him? It's a 133.6.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. That is close.
22 thousandths of a second separate first and second hit. Wow.
El Pato crosses the line 134.499. That is a solid lap, but to be fair, also not quite as fast as I thought it would be with that toe. So
I think, like we were saying, I think he was a little bit too far back for that toe to take any major effect here, and unfortunate for the McLaren. Will Patterson have time for another lap here? He's currently down in 8th. I don't think so. 13 seconds left in the session.
Yeah, it looks like Patterson might be on a hot lap at the moment, which if he is, he's going to get a toe again from his teammate who is in front of him. It won't be a ton. There's a bit of a space between them, but he should get something here. Will it be enough to jump him up in the standings? There's definitely room to improve from his current time and what is ahead of him. So it just depends on what Patterson can do on this lap.
He's 2.5 tenths quicker at the Sector 2 split. Purple Sector 2 here for Patterson. It's not going to be pole, but it's going to be an improvement.
It's going to be a good time for sure. What is going to be impressive if that Alfa Romeo Vincenzo can just keep P2 even after that crash would be impressive. I'm sure he'll be kicking himself a little bit for not getting to put in a proper fight for pole, but keeping P2 after a crash like that will be really impressive. Patterson rounds the final corner.
Yeah, up to third. Wow. Great drive there by the McLaren. He's managed to jump up from 8th to 3rd. English Dave, our last driver here on a lap.
And he upset that McLaren P3.
Not on this occasion.
No.
Will our pole sitter go quicker? No, he's on a really slow in lap. He's at the 2-minute mark
at this point.
Yeah, you never. Well, he did it in Q2. You never know.
He thought about it.
Yeah.
He thought about it. Wow, that is unexpected. But I would say I think the McLarens knew that maybe they didn't have the pace. It looks like to pull off pole, but use that toe to really help them out potentially, because starting P3 and P5 respectively with some very respectful times. So might have played that toe quite well, honestly, at the end of the day.
I think that first attempt at the toe didn't quite work out, but the second time around, near perfection for both drivers here. And some early celebrations in the chat from Z as he screams, "Yeah, come on!" Well deserved after one hell of a lap there.
I mean, and that is so close of a time. That is incredible. But wow, that was a very interesting Q3. You gotta wonder though, for those McLarens, if they needed the toe for those times, how vulnerable are they going to be in the race on that straight potentially if they don't have that straight line speed that some of these other cars might have?
What I'd love to know is how much slower Z's lap would have been if he didn't get that mini toe from the Alfa Romeo on the start finish line.
right at the end.
That's got to be something.
It's definitely a little something. To be fair, it's a pretty quick run up to that line after that corner. But yeah, it is. It definitely did a little something for him, and that little something might have just been enough to give him P1 at the end of the day with how close they were.
Never know. It's one of those things I don't think we'll ever find out the answer to.
Never
just how
know.
much that impacted. The race comes next. 50% race around Kota here. I don't know what time. I think it's Is it midday in Kota normally when they kick off? I can never remember.
Yeah, we're actually I would say right around an accurate time for it actually starting, because it is 1 p.m. here in Los Angeles, and it means 3 p.m. in Kota. So
lovely.
We're basically starting this right at Kota time. Well done.
Look at that. We're right on par with everyone.
This accuracy is incredible today.
Can confirm it was not planned, but we'll take the appreciation.
We'll take it.
As our drivers just get the final adjustments to their setup. I really wish there was like some grid walk animation in F124 here.
Be so fun.
Just something to show drivers and mechanics at their car, just for commentating.
Yeah. Codemasters, give us some fun stuff in F124.
Yeah.
If you make a repeat of this game and just slap F124 on it, I'm going to lose my mind.
At least give us a better story mode, please.
Yeah, please.
Right, here we go. For the formation lap, drivers get out underway for their formation lap. 3.4 miles just to get their tyres up to temperature. Speaking of tyres, let's have a little look at how our grid does its softs for our front two runners, the Italian cousins of Z and Vincenzo, both starting on the Red Bull soft tyres. Patterson starts from P3 on hard tyres. Everyone down from him to 10th place chooses the mediums, and then Bombaz being the other driver on the hards, and the 12th downwards starting on softs as well.
Yeah, this is we got some very interesting strategy calls here with tire. I'm very interested to see what can happen. It feels like P1 and P2 want to get that good launch and really fight. I like the McLaren's call of going for the hard. That could work out, but they are going to be potentially pretty vulnerable on the start to all those mediums around them and the softs in front of them. So if they can get a good launch and keep it tight together in that first part of the race, that could be a really interesting strategy call that pays off well. But the medium runners, not surprised on that one. P12 through P16 starting on the softs, obviously wanting to get a really good launch, feeling like they could potentially go a little farther in this 50% race on those softs. To be fair, in a 50% race, the tire deg is kind of skyrocketed a little bit to match what you would expect to see, and it's those are going to be hard to keep in the window.
Yeah, 100%, and especially in this game, the softs have such a drop off here compared to a lot of the other tyres. So maybe expecting an early safety car. I think if Z and Vincenzo can almost work together to pull away from the rest of the field here, that could really benefit both of them in the long run. Track temperature,
wow,
just a little bit higher than we saw in qualifying. 28 degrees Celsius, 82 degrees Fahrenheit, and slightly higher temperatures in the air as well. So maybe some higher tyre deg than we saw in qualifying as well, but not to worry as we get everyone lined up on the grid here.
Oof. That Alfa Romeo and the McLaren, both bad parking, so they are going to be a little vulnerable at the starts. The Alfa Romeo to his teammate of English Dave they are basically on top of each other, which is an incredible parking by that other Alfa Romeos. Here we go.
I'll let you take it away for the start.
Well, the game's not showing me the lights, so we're just going to wait for these cars to start moving, and off they go down in turn one. An incredible start from the Haas as they all are diving into this corner, but Alfa Romeo wants to make something stick. And the Haas says, "No, we're gonna take this nice and wide and give you plenty of space there. No need to keep things crazy." It looks like a pretty clean start to this race as we head into the S's.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, this is where things can really... Oh, and around goes the Red Bull. That is tough. You hate to see that.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And that is going to... Oof.
Everyone else getting through pretty much seamlessly. It looks like Patterson tries to put an early dive down on Vincenzo into turn one there, but the superior grip of those soft tyres is paying off. El Pato's made up a couple of positions as well as he joins his teammate on the second row of this race at the moment. Fruity Sniffle and OST Jewel are battling out further back as well.
El Pato right on the back of his teammate, going for that move. Looks like gonna make it stick. Yeah, on those medium tires. Again, Patterson with hard. It's predicting, the game is predicting a one-stop, soft to medium, or medium to hard is the predicted strategy here. So if Patterson can hold on with these hard tires and slap on the mediums, or even potentially the softs closer to the end of this race, this could be a really good strategy call. But he's going to be so vulnerable here for a few laps as these mediums are just going to have so much more grip, as you can see El Pato just taking off away from him.
Yeah, he's managing to drop back a little bit from his teammate. There's hard tyres really not firing up on that under that formation lap, and he's going to be very vulnerable to Finn off here in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, as we jump back to the front, and Zenip and Vincenzo are battling out a little bit here, and yeah, the Haas did lose that position on that first lap, but looks pretty comfortable just kind of following at the moment until DRS is enabled. So you got to wonder if he feels confident enough in that pace of that Haas to make a move down the back straight and try to pull away, or if he's just going to kind of settle in a moment, because they do have a bit of a gap already forming between them and the rest of the field. So you don't want to be battling too much, or you're going to leave yourself vulnerable to everyone behind you.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to bear in mind the tyres as well. The soft tyres are going to be really overheating if he's stuck in that dirty air for too long. But he has got the slipstream on Vincenzo down this back straight. Will he have enough, or will he burn some ERS? Obviously, no DRS available for the first 2 laps of a Grand Prix. Just stealing that line from
definitely burned a little ERS, but it looks like they were both burning. So the Alfa Romeo does not want to let him by. Fair enough. And if my game could just not be glitching on me, because it's giving me some weird intervals for P2 and P3 at the moment.
It's giving me them as well. Do not worry. That's a game thing. We'll ignore them. It will sort itself out eventually.
He's not a second and a half down, let's clarify. That is an error.
Is that a second, or is that a minute and a half? Fruity Sniffle gets our first penalty of the race. Ghost Reaper's dropping like a fly as he's spun out through Sector 3 there. Doesn't look like he's got any damage to the Ferrari, but maybe a little bit of pride.
The Alfa Romeo, the Aston Martin and the Alpha Tauri, Vapor and Bombs are just battling it out right now for P12. This is a great little battle we got going on, as the Aston might attempt to make a move here into turn 1. Thought about it, tried to make a move. Alpha Tauri wasn't having it, and did not bite on that little fake out there.
Big kick out from the rear of the Aston Martin there as he came through turn 1 as well. That's not going to help his chances.
No, not at all.
Oh, this helicopter shot through the S's is absolutely
that is
stunning.
Nice. Thank you.
We've had some horrible camera angles in F1 before. This
is
more
great.
of this.
More. I could just follow this the entire lap round as the Alpha Tauri makes a move down the inside of the Alpine, and whoa! Dear Lord, barely saved that one. Well done.
Really good driving there from the both of them. Not to have contact, and actually great defending by the Alpine as well to hold the position. I think he's going to lose it here down the straight though. As Sniffle goes down the inside again.
Ooh.
Oh, still holding that move around the outside.
Incredible defense by that Alpine.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and we can have a look at that again. Firstly, the helicopter shot, and then we see Fruity Sniffle making that attempt down into to the tight left-hander at the bottom of the hill. You can see him just at the bottom of your screens there. There we go. Tries down the inside, and a beautiful bit defending from the Alpine after a mistake by the AlphaTauri.
Yeah, and back up at the front of the field, the Alfa Romeo and the Haas are right together, and coming out of that final corner, the Alfa Romeo looks like it had a bit of a slide, and the Haas did tap the back of that Alfa Romeo, and you got to wonder if there's a little bit of wing damage, which I think you'll be fine. It was a pretty delicate tap, but you do not want front wing damage on this track because those S's become an absolute nightmare to drive. And English Dave with the third penalty so far of this race. 3 seconds, multiple warnings, track limits. We're gonna probably see quite a few of those. And if you can keep yourself a nice clean race and avoid any of those 3-second time penalties, you might be in for a quality result today, even if you're a little farther back in the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be honest, when you were chatting just for a minute there, I took everything off the screen whilst Vincenzo and Z were going through the S's. Helicopter shot the entire way, and it was just beautiful. But yeah, it's still really close battle. Like you said, English Dave getting that penalty as well. There's a battle further back as it looks like Ferrari's going to make a move on English Dave. These two still battling it out as a three-way battle here for P6. And I think it's Jula wanting to get involved as well. Oh, that's a good comment from the chat. What's the tyre wear like for the leaders?
Vapor. Oh my gosh, the AlphaTauri and Red Bull battle in the back of the field. The big snap on the straight from the AlphaTauri, which was very weird, and then pretty late braking, kind of hit the back of that Red Bull a little bit. Again, who knows if there's damage to that wing or not? Hard to say.
Yeah, we just went on board with our 2 leaders, just checking on how their tyres are doing. Vincenzo's are suffering a lot more than Z's. It's about a 10% difference on the leaders compared to second place at the moment, and this could really come into its own in a few laps.
That is shocking. Can't say I'm that surprised after seeing them in the S's, and Z just looks like he's got so much more grip and stability. Oh, and there is a 3 seconds for the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, I think we saw it coming. This battle is going to go on probably for a lot of the race, and it will be undercut versus overcut. And I think actually Vincenzo burning a lot of his ERS as we see that red light flashing on the rear of the Alfa Romeo.
And it's going to leave him incredibly vulnerable down this back straight. We'll see if Z takes a little move from Charles Leclerc and sends it down the inside. And no, he doesn't. That is interesting.
Really interesting that he actually didn't go for that move there. I would have probably expected it, but maybe he's just sitting behind, happy to not use...
3 wide. Oh, the Ferrari's off the track. The battle for 6 at the moment is absolute chaos. There are 4 cars, 4, 5, 3, 5 cars in this battle for 6. Oh my gosh. We were 3 wide down the back straight there for a second. Another 3-second time penalty for Liam, sadly, who is well back there, which is very unfortunate. Really tough race, tough qualifying for that Haas.
Yeah, really not having a good time down there is Liam. He's about 28 seconds off 15th. But like you said, there's a really good battle here going on for 6th place as all of them head down the home straight here.
Fantastic battle. Not a lot of ERS between any of them. The Ferrari makes an incredible move down the inside into turn 1 and makes it stick. Big lockups all behind them. Can't believe they all kept it out of each other because that could have been really terrible for that Williams. But incredible. Oh no! The Mercedes goes around. Wow, that is unfortunate. I would love to see a replay on that at some point because it looks like
you can.
It looks like that Mercedes just went a little too ambitious into that corner, and that is really unfortunate because that was some good battling. Still some good battling going on here, but wow, that was really unfortunate.
It looks like Ghost Reaper got caught up in that incident as well. We got a caution, sector 3. I think that's Son of Rome, maybe. Not quite sure who that was. There's still some very close battles going on. We'll hop on board with Fruity Sniffle here as they head down the back straight as we go to look at that replay on the incident earlier on where OSC Jeweler did lose out through that contact. On board with screens there, you just see the contact between him and I believe it's the... I can't tell who that was actually. But yeah, unfortunate contact there for OSC Jeweler after such a promising start to the race.
Yeah, both of our leaders now with a 3-second time penalty. Z looking real close, makes a move again. Wow, gets it set in before the turn, even turn 1. That is quite impressive. But that Alfa Romeo definitely wants to fight back, even with those worst tires. He has got to be struggling for grip, but no shot that he wants to pit yet. It is definitely not optimal. But you can just tell that grip is struggling. He's really going to want to keep it in close for that DRS to even have a chance to stick in through sector 3.
Yeah, we have Vincenzo's tyres up on the screen at the moment. It's a worst tyre 47%, best tyre 45% here on those softs. They're definitely about to go off that cliff if they haven't done already.
Yeah, some great battling all around though. Vincenzo just keep it close, and considering a move down the inside, will he make it stick?
A bit of a lock up there, but the Haas into the left-hander, and that allows Vincenzo actually to get a little bit of a gap to him.
Just a little bit. Big shout out to the McLaren of Patterson, really making those hard tires work, sticking right behind his teammate, and this could pay dividends at the end of this race, depending on how close they are able to stay to these top 2. Obviously, there's a bit of a gap, but that battling between the top two is definitely going to help these McLarens as long as they can kind of keep the battling minimized between the two of them. As the Red Bull kind of enters into this battle in the scene, thinking about wanting to be in that fight for that final podium position.
Yeah, he's going to want to get involved. The two McLarens have to really work together here. I think El Pato has been keeping Patterson in this race for a little bit too long. And maybe Finn wants to come ruin the party.
As he makes a move around the outside in turn one. Might make that stick, honestly. Oof, just misses out. But wow, that was an incredible effort to try to make it around the outside and stick it down into turn two, but just didn't quite have the grip for it, unfortunately. But yeah, the McLarens, they are definitely helping each other, but you got to wonder if it's going to accidentally leave El Pato vulnerable to this Red Bull if he doesn't try to get a bit of a move on at some point.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's Finn has used a lot of his ERS here. You can see the rear light flashing, or at least it was at the beginning of the lap. So maybe that might be his weak point, his Achilles heel here in his charge against the McLarens. There we go. Yeah, the light going again on this DRS straight.
Man, just good battles all around. And as he does get by, but that McLaren, Patterson really wants to fight back. And is thinking about a move around the outside. Oh, not going to make that one stick. That's a tough spot. But he dives down the inside.
Great overtake there by Patterson, getting that position back. I thought Finn's going to go for it again. He is. There's contact between the two of them. That spins Patterson round. I think that
is
unfortunate for the McLaren, but I don't think that's his fault at all.
No, that's
he's going to lose
really
a lot of
unfortunate.
Positions. Might see a safety car here for that. There's no damage, but sometimes it brings out if a driver does slow down. Smithy gets himself a penalty. He's currently in 6th position. Let's have a look at how all our penalties are looking. It's pretty much 3 seconds across the board. Yeah, apart from English Dave, he has 6. Liam has 9. And I think a lot of this race could be determined on penalties here, don't you think?
Oh, most definitely. And I think Patterson is just going to be feeling it after that one. That is a tough spin. He was fighting so hard holding P4, and unfortunately that hard tire is, it's just that strategy is just going to potentially still pay off for him. He's going to have some either some mediums or softs at the end of this race, depending on when he stops. The only thing I will say for that McLaren is a really unfortunate spin, dropping him back to 9th. But basically everyone in front of him except the Williams and his teammate does have at least a 3-second time penalty at the moment. So if he can keep it clean and utilize that softer tire compound at the end of this race, I would not count the McLaren out of this race completely at the moment. I think there's still some potential for what they can do at this point.
Yeah, absolutely right. We're back on board with our leader at the moment, just checking how their tyres are doing. And Vincenzo has passed that 60% tyre wear mark. And I think it will be a pit stop very soon for our two leaders on the soft tyres here.
Oh, most definitely. I think pretty soon. I know probably slapping on those mediums at some point soon. If not this next lap, then probably the following one. The undercut here should be relatively powerful, especially with how these softs are falling off. So it'll be interesting to see when people decide to come in as another penalty comes in. Sadly,
we do have our
penalties galore. Welcome to Coda.
We do have our first pit stop as an interesting one. It's Smithy coming in for a second set of the mediums. Looks like it's going to be a 2-stop strategy here for one of the Ferraris.
Interesting. I will be intrigued to see how that pans out. And
there's a spin further
back.
It's Patterson. Yeah, turn 1.
Wow.
And that's another couple of positions he loses out on, not having a great race here after that earlier spin.
That is really tough. El Pato really keeping it in play, I will say, at the moment. 4 seconds off of the Haas, but like we've said, it has the option to, if he can make these mediums last a little bit, either he's going to slap on those hard tires at some point and go to the end, or if he can really hold out with these mediums, could potentially put on the sauce. But in order to do that, he would have to make these mediums go another probably 7 to 8 laps to really get the most out of those softs. And that might be a little bit of a challenge depending on how quickly those are wearing off for him.
Yeah, they're at about 40% at the moment, according to our data. So
Not fun for
not
sure
fun,
right now
but
for him.
doable. I think that's probably the way we should look at it. I mean, they'll last 7 laps. They might not be competitive in that time, and it's just what happens around him could really influence this race. But speaking of penalties as well, bear in mind he's if we add the penalties into the mix here, he's what 1.4, 1.5 seconds off the lead.
Right in that mix for sure. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what strategy this McLaren calls for at this point, because could just slap on hards right now and just start putting some good laps as the leaders are still staying out on these softs that are definitely not going to be doing them any favors at the moment. And not having any penalties, again, if that McLaren can keep it clean, very much in this battle for P1.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be so close. Can we appreciate, though, we've got 11 laps here around Kota, not necessarily a track that's well known for being able to follow, and we have 2 drivers separated by no more than a couple of tenths.
And yeah, they've been like that the entire race, swapping positions as the Haas gets by into that corner.
The only way I can kind of describe it is like Dragonflies during mating season, where they're just intertwined, going through twists and turns, and it's been beautiful to watch.
Yeah, it's been very impressive, and you gotta wonder, those Alfa Romeo tires are definitely feeling it more in those Haas's. Who is going to be the first one to pull the trigger of these front 2 and pit? I don't think either of them wants to drop into any kind of traffic at this point. But
we see the Haas. The Haas faked it.
Faked him out. Wow, I love to see that.
Woo. Wow, that
is so interesting. You got to wonder though, the Alfa Romeo is going to put on a fresh set of
mediums.
Looks like mediums. And you gotta wonder if that might actually be a mistake from the Haas, depending on where the Alfa Romeo comes out. Could set in a good lap here and could potentially undercut, especially if it looks like he is gonna have DRS down that back straight. So a lot to play for here, and the Haas is gonna have to put in an absolute banger lap, and I feel like he's gonna have to come in now to really cover off. But wow, what an absolute! You got to respect the fake out at that point. That was he had me fully. I thought he was going in.
I thought he was going in, and you don't see enough of that anymore. You don't see the fakes in Formula One, and it was so well executed by the Haas. Not only has it fooled us, I think it fooled Vincenzo as well.
Oh, most definitely. But we will have to just see if that fake pays off, or if it comes back to bite him a little bit. Tough to see.
I think to make it work, he's got to come in this lap, otherwise his tyres are dying.
Yep.
We'll have a quick look at what they're at 65%.
Woo!
And they will be screaming out for help. It's definitely not far off puncture territory here. And I think the pit stop will be calling. I think the team principal definitely will be yelling for him at some point to come in. And indeed, in he comes this lap.
And behind him, we've got a great battle going on for P4 at the moment. Some good clumping. We'll see how that kind of pans out after this round of pit stops. Here comes the Haas.
He's probably hoping that his teammate will let him pass. He does, almost follows him a little bit there. And Vincenzo, he's going to get out really ahead of the Haas.
He's going to get it. Wow.
The undercut worked out really well. The fake has kind of come back to bite Z in the back. And
yeah, we were. That is wild. And those two have been battling within a second of each other basically this entire race. And now Z is two seconds off of one Alfa Romeo. Man, intervals are hard. Thank you for passing right there. That was helpful. I appreciate that from the Haas. 4.5 seconds, almost 5, off of Vincenzo, and that is a massive undercut from that Alfa Romeo.
What's really interesting to note is that Z's gone on to hards, Vincenzo's on mediums. Will we see a battle of tyre wear here in the last few laps of this race?
I think so, especially because for whatever reason, that Alfa Romeo's tires seem to be falling off more, even though in that first stint he seemed to have the lead a
Ooh.
lot more. You would expect that his tires, little
English Dave, we're just on board with having a little bit of a moment into the barrier there. Not quite sure what's going on with that.
That was a bit weird, bit of a weird section for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, those Alfa Romeo tires definitely seem to fall off faster during that first stint. So you got to wonder if we're going to see something interesting here come the end of this race, because it does seem like the Haas was able to really keep those tires in a good working window a little bit longer. And now that he has the hard tires on, going to lose a little bit of pace here at the beginning, obviously. But what will he be able to do after that? As currently he is, I'm trying to see, we got a good battle going on right now between the two of them. But what was 6 seconds? 6 seconds off of that Alfa Romeo. El Pato doing a great job staying out in front in those mediums. You got to wonder when he's gonna bring it in. Feels like he's waiting for that moment to bring the softs on board, and that we could have a very interesting, as Vincenzo gets another time penalty, and that puts him at 6. So the McLaren very much in this battle at the moment for sure P2, if not P1, I would say.
Yeah, that penalty for Vincenzo is really going to come back to bite him. I've a feeling, if Z can get it within 3 seconds, he doesn't even need to attempt an overtake here. He can use those hard tyres, just sit behind the Alfa Romeo and just play the game till the end of the race here.
Yeah, and the Aston Martin also came out of nowhere. I got to look and see if he has not pitted. Okay. He has not pitted yet. There it is. If he had pit and been there, I'd have been absolutely shocked.
I'll say we've seen some surprises in Formula 1 where drivers aren't necessarily where they're supposed to be. But that would have been a very sneaky move there by Bombaz. But yeah, like you said, having yet to pit, like with Patterson, both started on the hard tyre. And I wonder what they're on. Let's have a little look. They've just crossed the 50% mark, so they're not doing too well.
Yeah. Gonna have to come in at some point, and definitely gonna be dropping. Again, the only thing though is they're gonna for sure at least be able to put the mediums on, and at this point feels like they're gonna probably wait and put the softs on. Ooh, as their teammate El Pato comes in and puts the hards on. That is an interesting. Must not have felt very good about what they could do on the softs with this amount of time and felt like they were losing too much time. So slap those hards on. It'll be interesting to see if they can make it out in front of the Aston Martin.
Ooh. Bit of a dive back there for Finn as he tries to get off Bombaz into turn 1. Very lucky he didn't cause more of an incident, as we see Smithy trying to get involved as well. 2 more penalties coming up. I think that was Vapor Mini and I missed the other one. I think it was Ghost Reaper. They're two, I would say they're battling, but they're about 10 seconds apart. So penalties galore at the moment. Son of Rome gets the next penalty here. I should have added like a penalty counter to the screen, and that would have been interesting to keep track of. Bombaz there. That's another one.
So many. Gonna pull up Race Director and just start scrolling through them all at this point.
That's what I'll do at the end of this race, and we'll have a look at just how many incidents there were. It's almost like Austria in terms of track limits, just how fine a margin it can be.
Yeah, and it looks like El Pato's gotten those hard tires warmed up relatively quickly, held off Finn through that back straight, which is definitely what he needed to do. And they're both on basically the exact same tire. El Pato has 1 lap newer hards. But man, you got to wonder, what is he going to be able to do with those to potentially get back into this fight in the top 2? Again, lots of penalties at the moment. None for the McLaren. Everyone in the top 10 has penalties except for El Pato and the Williams of Apex Joe.
Yeah, OST Joel is actually doing well to maintain his lack of penalties as well. And that could promote him quite a few spots coming the end of this race.
Red Bull thinking about a move down the inside of the McLaren on turn 1, but
He's gone for it.
An absolute dive bomb.
It seems to be his favourite place to make a move at the moment. He tried it last lap, I think successfully again on Bombaz. Does it again for a 2nd lap in a row on Pato, and that's put him up into 3rd place. Pato, though, still penaltyless.
Yeah, and unfortunately, his teammate just having a horrendous day after a great start gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Just not going to be happy about this day. It started out so well. The spin happened, penalties coming in, and really unfortunate to see after what was a really good stint on those hard tires until he got spun around. Oh, and it looks like
Apex Joe's had a spin round in
Oh,
sector
big
2.
spin.
Yeah, will he lose any positions? Ooh,
Oh, God.
almost causing an instant between English Dave and Peeler. There's a little bit of contact between the two of them. And oh gosh, what is going on? There's carnage everywhere. Ghost Reaper gets involved now. And lots and lots of carnage going on. Patterson, I think, has now got involved in this as well.
My God.
Was there damage to... I think it was damage to Ghost Reaper. We can pull it up on our screen. If you look on the right-hand side... Oh, he hasn't got his data shared. How boring. We can't see. So close. Come on, Ferrari. Do better.
Do better.
On board, though,
3-second time penalty.
with Apex Joe, he was looking for a move on the Red Bull again. Didn't quite make it on this occasion. Peeler does manage to hold him off. And that kind of resets that bottom half of the grid after that earlier spin. Oh, and it's another spin for Apex Joe. This time, entering Sector 3, those tyres must be absolutely cooked in terms of temperature.
Yeah.
And
he's going to have to now tiptoe through this section to probably not spin again, as you can kind of see, and just going to have to be careful around this corner. Oh, man, okay. Made it. But, wow, that is definitely going to hurt him. What is really interesting to me here is the... 1 second, let me see the penalties. Yeah, so if we look back up to the front of the field, the Haas has not really put a dent into that lead of Vincenzo, and obviously Vincenzo with the 6-second time penalty, the Haas with 3 seconds, and the Red Bull also with 6 seconds. So El Pato here with a net P3 at the moment, and definitely going to want to get by for sure if he wants to attempt to kind of close that gap to P2 and P3. But as the Alfa Romeo of English Dave goes off track, fully cuts that corner, 3-second time penalty. But really interesting how the top two have spaced out after what was such a close battle at the beginning of this race.
yeah, I think the hard tyres may have been a bad choice here for the Haas as we're on board with Patterson trying to get past English Dave. Both of them having a good battle down the back straight, and I think Patterson's going to get this done quite easily. English Dave with that 15 seconds of penalties here. I think he almost lets him pass.
Yeah,
it's not worth the battle.
No, not worth it. But 15 seconds. So you gotta love this track for those 3-second time penalties. You can really rack them up quick without even realizing it. There's just so many spots that are so easy to go off, and it just it hurts at the end of the day.
I think we might see a disqualification potentially. It's normally around the 30-second mark for that disqualification to come from the game. So Liam's probably not far off it. Bombaz into the pits finally after 18 laps onto the mediums. English Dave gets himself another. He's on 18 seconds here as Bombaz comes out in 9th place, I believe. He'll probably get taken by the McLaren here. We can watch on board. And just manages to hold it.
Close?
It's going to be close. I think Patterson might get this
really close
on traction around the outside. Yes, he does.
Oof.
Great move there by the McLaren, having the warmer tyres, and Bombaz will have to settle for P10 for now.
For now, but I think, he's definitely looks like he's going to be able to keep it close enough to get DRS into this back straight, and going to have those much fresher tires, so should be able to hopefully get some good traction. The great thing I've learned about this track is it is usually pretty easy to pretty quickly get your tires up into that good working temperature. I mean, even you just see by that dive from that Aston Martin, just looked like he had so much more grip. Patterson is able to kind of hold him off for now, but I don't think that's gonna stay like this very long. I would expect the Aston Martin to get by, if nothing else, just because time penalties. He could stay back there and chill, but I think he wants to try to make some moves and move up into the field a little more.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think this track, just because of how twisty and turny it is through Sector 1, it just allows temperature to come straight into the tyres. And then by the back straight, you've got that temperature up. You can get a good exit out of the pretty much the hairpin and have a good charge down that back straight on your opponent with the DRS as well.
Yeah, a big shout out to the 3 drivers that have yet to get any kind of time penalty. McLaren of El Pato, the Mercedes of Jeweler, and the Williams of Apex Joe. Still, definitely that could come into play for sure. And just still that Haas just not able to make a lot work up in front for Z with those hard tires. And just kind of sitting at the the 7-second down mark. A reminder, the Alfa Romeo of Vincenzo has 6 seconds time penalties, and the Haas of Z has 3 seconds. So if the Haas can kind of close up in these last 9 laps, still has the potential to get that win. But really has got to be careful with track limits, because if he makes any kind of mistake, that is basically over for him then.
Yeah, it's got to be so. I don't know how many warnings the drivers are on that are yet to get penalised here, but I think the good approach to take is it's only 1 track limit violation away from getting a 3-second, which could lose you a couple of spots here.
Very, very much so. Very much so. It'll be kind of interesting as the field seems to have spread out a little bit, except for Jeweler.
Bombaz and Jeweler all still battling it out here. Bombaz is almost eager to get past the McLaren, and it's just not happening on this occasion.
Yeah, the Aston Martin does have a 3-second time penalty, and that Mercedes in front doesn't have anything, but I'm sure he would love to get by the McLaren and make a potential run at Jeweler and, try to use those very much newer tires, honestly, to make something happen. And
Someone's
speaking
in
of something
the
happening,
pits, I believe. Jeweler and Fruit Sniffle both in the pits then, both coming off hards.
Very nice.
Soft tyres for Fruit Sniffle. What's it going to be for Jeweler? It's also soft tyres for the Mercedes. Will we see some fastest lap attempts here, do you reckon?
Honestly, wouldn't be too surprised. What is interesting is Son of Rome in that Alpine on 13-lap-old hards. And obviously, the McLaren of Patterson and the Aston Martin of Bamza have much newer tires, but just can't seem to make anything stick at the moment.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be many overtakes further back. We're going to have a look at Bombaz. His tyres looking fairly good at the moment. Those fresh mediums. And he's got to get a good exit here for the run down the straight. Will he get the DRS? He gets DRS.
Oh, he's going to definitely make this move happen.
Yeah, almost without question here. Liam, there we go. Disqualification.
52 seconds.
I think he got a 10-second at some point for cutting some part of the track. And so we're down to 15. I'll be honest, I'm impressed there's been no crashes so far, touch wood.
Yeah, a couple spins. Definitely some incidents, but nothing. No one has DNF'd yet. But with some of the battling going on in the back of the field and trying to run away from some of these time penalties, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see something. And to be fair, if we get some kind of safety car in the next couple laps, that could really make this race interesting, as it will bunch up the field, obviously. And we've got some different tires going on, so you'll have to wonder if we do get that safety car, what will happen? Will people come in? Will they stay out? It would be interesting to see at this point.
Yeah, so Smithy goes on to fresh soft, Son of Rome onto fresh mediums here, as we watch Apex Show just getting past Jeweler on the final corner of the racetrack. And yeah, I think, like you said, different strategies really coming into play here, and it could throw the grid around a little bit.
Yeah, and Jeweler and Joe, a nice little battle going on right now between the two of them. Obviously, Joe.
Oh, Joe's really.
Oh no! Oh, it looked like he was gonna save it, and just that is tough.
I have no.
So hard to have such a clean race and with penalties and just have a couple spins that really throw you way back down the order. Really unfortunate for Joe.
Yeah, it looked like he almost got his lines crossed there. Something wasn't right in the car, being thrown left, right, and forwards. And eventually had to spin the car out a little bit. But Vincenzo is in the pits again.
Oh, that is
interesting.
Unexpected.
Yeah. How?
Well, yeah. I don't really know what to say on that one. I would have not expected that.
Is he going to be able to pull 12 seconds in 6? I don't think he will.
To be fair, we haven't seen a lot of performance from Z on those tires, which again makes it a little weird to pit, and also to put on the obviously the deg on the softs is much higher during this 50% race. But to be fair, you should be able to make them work pretty well for 6 laps. You would at least think you'd put the softs on at this point, but gonna need to pull at least half a second a lap to even attempt to make a move on that final lap. And This is an interesting strategy call, and I'm not quite sure what the thought is here.
I think if my math is correct, it's nearly 2 seconds a lap.
You're right.
6 laps remaining, 12 seconds, yeah.
Yep, that's math. Math was not my strongest, obviously, but yeah, 2 seconds lap, and has the time penalty, so actually more than 2 seconds lap, because it got another 3 seconds to contend with there.
I mean,
it's making up time. I will say it.
Yeah, he's almost made up 2 seconds in one lap. He's got half a second to make up in a couple of corners, so it could happen here. I'm not going to write this off.
Wonder why.
I'm not going to
wonder why.
Yeah, he was clear. Maybe he wasn't clear on penalties. Maybe he thought he wouldn't make it, and he took the gamble to try and maybe secure P2.
Now, to be fair, you're putting a little bit of pressure on the Haas to put in some times, and maybe in his thought process, if you can get a little pressure, it might force Z into a bit of a mistake to go wide, get another 3-second time penalty, and with that would put them on equal for time penalties. So, as you can see, already down to a 9.5-second gap. This is going to be very interesting. If nothing else, we got a nice little chase going on at the end of the race, and has really made this pretty interesting. As English Dave has 21 seconds of time penalties and nearing disqualification at this point.
Yeah, he's not far off. All it takes is a good couple of mistakes here and there, and English Dave will find himself quite easily out the race, not just out the points here.
Yeah, not ideal.
El Pato, though, is sitting in a really comfortable position at the moment. He's probably not far off P2 here in terms of time.
No, I don't think he's going to make up a ton of time with that Alfa Romeo slapping on those new tires, obviously. But definitely has basically locked in P3 at the moment. And I think at this point he's just kind of settled into his race and realized that's what he's going to get and just kind of chilling out at the moment. Has a good lead in the championship at this point, so no need to do anything dumb and sacrifice all those points of a pretty much guaranteed podium right now if he can keep it clean.
That's very true. Just to give you an update, as Vincenzo comes around the final corner, he made 3 seconds up on that last lap alone.
Yeah,
this could happen.
This
could happen.
Even with the extra 3 seconds time penalty, I mean, 6.7 currently down, rounding turn 1. It'll be interesting to see what he's able to bring that on to.
Yeah, he's got 5 laps to go, including this lap, and only 6 seconds. He can slow down and probably still make this.
If you're sitting in that house right now and you're Zenip, what is going through your mind? What is your kind of strategy call on some relatively older hards? How much are you pushing versus trying to keep it clean, but also seeing that time just rapidly plummet behind you?
I think there's a lot of alarm bells going off somewhere. Somewhere, someone is screaming. There's fire somewhere. Gunther Steiner is probably swearing at a Netflix camera.
Yeah,
and it's going to be an interesting end to this race. I'll tell you that.
It is. If the Haas can put up a good defense again, the Alfa Romeo is making really good time at the moment. Only 5.4 seconds off at the moment. But the problem is that Alfa Romeo does have an extra 3 seconds of time penalty to the Haas, and if he can't force that Haas into some kind of mistake to gain him another time penalty, he's gonna have to get by and get another 3 seconds. And the hard part might be getting by, depending on when he catches up to the Haas. If it's timed out perfectly, as we see another spin from Joe, who has DNF'd.
Retired on track.
Retired from the car.
Around the final corner. Could this bring out a safety car, do you reckon?
It looks like he's still moving on my screen, so I don't believe so.
It should just park him up at turn 1, hopefully. I've seen the game throw out safety cars for less here. But Vincenzo is only 4 seconds away. He's burned all the ZRS in the last couple of laps. So he's got none of it left, or minute amounts of it left. This could be a really close battle to the end. It's going to go down to pretty much DRS battles here, I have a feeling.
Yeah, this is gonna be pretty close, honestly. It's gonna be exciting, that's for sure. As we got some good battles in the background for P6. Obviously, though, the McLaren with 5 seconds more of time penalties. So if Smithy can just kind of slot it in and stick it in there, going to be doing pretty good at the moment. But I think he would like to get by on this lap and potentially put a little bit of pressure on that Aston Martin, because it looks like he's got a little bit of pace to potentially catch up, but he's going to definitely need to make a move around the back straight and really put some pressure on that Aston Martin.
Yeah, he's got to get a good exit here out of the hairpin. He's got those fresh softs on. He'll have the grip, and he's got to get a good exit, which he does indeed. That DRS wing will fling open here as they head down the rear straight. Let's see if he can make a move before the turn.
He is dumping ERS.
Yeah, I think he's going to make it quite easily there. Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, no complications about that move for the Ferrari, and now his target will change to the Aston Martin. Speaking of targets, though, I'm going to go back up front with Vincenzo in his sights. He sees that Haas no more than one corner away. And yeah, the battle's down to 2.2 seconds. It was nearly 12 seconds a mere 3 laps ago.
Yeah, and just over 2.5 laps to go at this point. And will it be enough? Now, this is where slapping on those mediums could be better than the softs, because even after 3 laps, you're definitely going to lose some of the performance from the softs. So you got to wonder if that was maybe the right call and could give him enough pace to get by the Haas and continue on with those 3 seconds. But it looks like right now he is going to catch him at a terrible section of this track if he catches him during Sector 3. But if you can close that gap, as there's a big lockup, it looks like, from the Haas, who is really pushing hard to try to keep him behind. If he can catch up right before the DRS zone into Turn 1, it could set him up beautifully to get that 3-second gap that he needs. But it is going to be close.
Yeah, it's going to be so close. We've got both graphics up on the screen at the moment, tyres and the battle forecast. We had a quick look at Z's tyres. They're sat around 50% on those hards. Vincenzo's tyres, after only 4 laps and nearly at 30%, that front right is screaming. And now they're almost within DRS range. 1.5 seconds separate our 2 leaders. 2 laps to go here. Just under 7 miles of racing.
This is going to be close, and I think he's going to make the pass happen on this lap. I don't know if he's going to be able to get that extra 3 seconds he's going to need. But he definitely needs to get into DRS range before this back straight to even have a chance of making an overtake. And currently he is out of DRS. Oh, and made a big jump around that corner. It's going to be very close. I don't know if he got it, though.
I don't know if he's managed to get it.
Oh, he got it. He does have, the Alfa Romeo has DRS coming down his back straight, but is basically a second back. He's going to have to make an absolute dive into this corner to make something happen, and he's not going to be close enough.
He's nowhere near close enough for that.
Yeah. Ooh. Lockups all around. We love that.
I think Z keeps locking up. We've seen it a few times in the lead up to this lap. How you can just see the smoke trail. He's gone for the dive. He's gone for the dive down the inside.
Whoa.
Vincenzo's gone for it early. Caught the Haas off guard. The Haas has to defend. Manages to hold the position. And just manages to hold on to it this time. That caught all of us out, including, I think, the Haas driver.
Shocking.
A bold place to go for it. Both their rear lights flashing now. In terms of ERS use, is going to be DRS. 2 of those sections remain here as we enter the final lap of the the Texas Grand Prix. It's no longer just the American Grand Prix, is it? Here at the Circuit of the Americas, 3.4 miles remain for this Alfa Romeo, who's done spectacularly to get back within time. I don't think he's going to be able to get P1 on paper, but he might be able to get P1 on track here. And it's all to play for the next 3 miles.
I would agree with you. I don't really see a way that he gets by on this back straight and manages to pull off 3 seconds without some kind of error from Z. But that Haas is playing a smart game right now, defending when he needs to. They are so close, though.
Tried to dive off the track.
Oh no! Ooh, that is.
That's an unfortunate. I think that will give Vincenzo the race win. I think
that will.
I don't want to claim fault on that in any way, shape, or form. That's not for me to decide here in the commentary box. But it was just a poor incident there. What a horrible way to end such a fantastic race between the Alfa Romeo and the Haas here. We will stick on board with Vincenzo as he gets the lead, gets the win rather, both on track and now indeed on paper. El Pato might be able to make up a position later on in penalties. We'll see how penalties affects some of our drivers, as we have only 2 remaining penalty lists. Vincenzo comes round the final corner then, will take everything off the screen. And across the line he comes to claim the win here at the Circuit of the Americas. Z has fought everything, thrown everything at him. One mistake cost him. And then I think a bit of poor sportsmanship as well, as he'll come across the line to take P2. And it will be Finn, I believe, who just holds on to P3. I don't know what penalties he's on at the moment.
He has 9 seconds at the moment, so he is going to lose that to
Pato.
Yep, Pato's going to jump up into P3. As the rest of the field is kind of going to file in behind him. Doesn't look like there's a lot of people that are going to be able to make a move. The Ferrari was closing in on the Aston Martin, but just couldn't get quite close enough to make any kind of moves at the end of this race. But we could... Oh, the Alpine is right on top of that Alpha Tauri. But I think it's just going to be 1 corner too late.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be maybe 1 lap too late here for these guys as they come across the line. Top 10 filing in now. OST Jeweler will round out our top 10. Ghost Reaper, Peeler, English Dave, Vapor Mini are non-point scorers here this afternoon. After what was a fantastic race, we'll watch Peeler and English Dave bring it home.
Wow. Just pulling up the race director and the amount of incidents and still scrolling. Just
oh boy,
this track and track limits go together like Ferrari and a bad strategy.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, I've just I pulled it up. I couldn't get to the end of it before it ended the race.
It was a long list.
But there, Bombaz is the games driver of the day. Who was your driver of the day? From us in the commentary box.
Honestly, man, there was some great calls all around. Vincenzo with a bold strategy call that did seem to pay off. Gave us some great racing at the end, and you really got a feel for Z in that Haas. Honestly, did everything right. Kept the penalties to a minimum, and just had that really unfortunate incident on that last turn, and that is tough to see, honestly. But you got to give it to Vincenzo for a great race, for making an incredibly bold strategy call that none of us saw coming, and we're really doubting, but really just put in some incredible laps to bring that 12-second gap down, and put the pressure onto Z right at the end there. So incredible racing all around.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I say El Pato has to be a name up there for sure. Remaining penaltyless for the entire duration of the race and finishing on the podium as well. So really good effort from him. Smithy in the chat saying it's got to be Smithy for driver of the day. I'm not quite sure how it works, but we'll appreciate the suggestion.
Okay.
He did say also that he almost got the Aston.
He did. He was close. And I mean, to be fair, the Bomza a fair drive of the day after starting 11th on the grid and finishing 5th. That is a fantastic drive. And just to I will give it to Patterson too. He started 3rd, finished 7th, but when at one point we were looking, and I think he was in 14th, 13th after a couple of those spins and those errors. So with all those penalties, even still finishing 7th is a great result for that McLaren.
Yep, 100%. It was a really great drive by him. But that does sum up the end of this race. It's been fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Josh, for joining me in the commentary box again. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you alongside.
Oh, of course. Always happy to join. It's always the gem of a time, and just can't go wrong with some good quality racing on a Sunday, especially now that F1 is officially done, and the last race was this morning. So love watching some good racing.
Exactly. So the F1 calendar in real life might be finished, but F05 still has some races to go. Do tune in, same place, same time next week, and I will join you there. But for now, good night, God bless. I'll see you all soon.